Hello.
Hello there. Is that Eliah?
Yeah, this is Eliah. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's DJ Gloss here from Sound Fusion Radio in London.
How you doing, sir? A pleasure.
Doing very well, and it's a pleasure to talk to you too, sir. A pleasure to talk to you. Whereabouts in the world are you today, Eliah?
All right, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now.
Whereabouts is that, sorry?
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Wow. There you go. What's the weather like?
Oh, man, it's been 90 degrees here for the past 4 or 5 days.
Oh, wonderful. Sounds absolutely great. That sounds fantastic. Do you mind if I start firing a few questions at you? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Take your time. Go ahead and do it.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I see that you were born in New York and you started singing gospel in the family church. I wondered if you could tell us about that.
Oh, well, I mean, most of my family is involved in the church, or has been since I was born. And so it's kind of like a natural thing to be there. You know, church, I don't know what kind of churches you guys go to or if you attended, but it's born when you're a little kid. Mm. So the only thing that kept my interest was the music.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so it was just a natural thing that I kind of gravitated towards is music, and started out just practicing playing around on the drums and the keyboard and the organ, and you know, eventually singing. So that's how I got my interest into music.
Sounds absolutely wonderful. So, did you get yourself a solo spot in the church when you were young? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's you know, on Easter Sundays, you know, they ask kids always, you know, to remember a Bible verse or quote a Bible verse, or they have a children's program. And there weren't very many little boys, but since my family was over the church, of course, I was always present.
Yes.
So, you know, they needed somebody to sing, and it was just kind of like process of elimination. I kind of got drafted to do it. I didn't volunteer to do the singing part. I wanted to play an instrument.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
But I kind of got drafted into the singing thing.
Wonderful. Well, you know, you are incredibly good at it, so I would imagine you were then as well. So, you know, it's not surprising.
I don't recall. I know everybody's kind of kind to children in church. You can't really go wrong if you're cute and little. You know, nobody's mean to kids in church. So I guess that was working for me too.
Bless. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. So, who were your inspirations musically, Eliah, when you were younger? Who sort of kind of inspired you musically?
Well, growing up in a household in the I guess 70s and 80s, Billy Preston, Marvin Gaye, of course, the legendary Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. Music was always around. The Temptations, during Motown's golden era or coming off the golden era. Music was always an integral part of what I was around. My family was very musical.
Yeah.
So there's never been a time in my life that I didn't remember it. But those were my heavy influences, and I love people who I love musicianship. I love musicians. Mm. So the people like Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and Billy Preston, people who played the music that they sung, I was always extremely impressed by those individuals.
That's a pretty impressive A-list you have there, actually, I will say, of inspirations. And it's funny that you should mention Donny Hathaway, because I was talking to his daughter, Layla Hathaway, only yesterday, funnily enough. So there you go.
Oh my God, she's incredible. It's on my bucket list. I met her many years ago. I'm sure she would never remember it when she first came out. I met her at a nightclub in New York City, at a dance club called Kilimanjaro's. But I followed her career, and I've always been such a great fan of her. She's an incredibly awesome talent.
Well, yes, and she was a lovely lady to speak to yesterday, and yes, I see what you mean with her, absolutely, and a wonderful lady. I wanted to ask you. I mean, you started off really with the music scene as a sort of backing quite a few people, and I wondered if you wanted to sort of tell us about that journey from, you know, backing vocals to front line.
Yeah, it's kind of like being a parent. You know, when you're a background vocalist, it's a thankless job. You know, a lot of times you back up individuals that you may personally think you're more talented than, but it's about them having the machine, and you're just a moving part. But what it afforded me to be able to do was it allowed me to learn the business of music, and it also allowed me to perfect my craft. It made me very efficient in the studio when it came time for me to record my own album. Backgrounds, which may be difficult for some artists, that part of the process is very easy for me. I love the studio. So, I mean, being around major artists and artists that needed my expertise, I would go in, and I became very proficient at just going in and knocking out the parts, whether it was 3-part, 4-part harmony. I could do it all by myself and do it very quickly. And that works to my advantage now. But I learned a lot of invaluable experience just being around artists of all different genres, and it trained my ear and my voice. So I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world.
That's wonderful. I mean, anything that helps you hone your own craft and the person who you are, you know, that has got to be, you know, a step right the way through the right direction, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's a quote on your website, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic, and it goes like this: "As long as there are real people in the world, there will always be a place for real good music." Tell us about that.
Man,
that's a serious quote.
Oh, Gloss, that's being an R&B artist or soul music artist. A lot of times we don't get a lot of recognition. We don't get a lot of publicity. You know, you'll never see a legitimate soul R&B artist on 106 in Park. Very little airplay on videos unless you're an independent artist. So, but we'll never die. It'll never go. Soul music and R&B music will never die, because as long as there are real people, R&B music and soul music speaks to people's real life situations. It's almost like the blues, except it's a little bit happier, you know. But people can relate to what we sing about because we're singing about our life experiences, whether it's falling in love, falling out of love, dealing with you know, the nuances of a new relationship.
Yeah.
And people, you know, if you want to dance, you can listen to Chris Brown and Trey Songz. That's wonderful. I think they're very gifted young people. But as long as there are real people walking the earth that need to be ministered to, their life situation, soul music is always going to have a place, and soul artists, therefore, will be relevant from now to the end of time.
Well, you know, it's not called soul for nothing, that's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, as a radio station, you know, we are a soul, well, we call ourselves a Mobo station. We promote independent and signed music of black origin right the way across the board, all genres. And, you know, that's our thing. That's what we do. And it's all about the love of that music. And I hear exactly what you're saying. It's obvious with you, Eliah, that chivalry, principles, and gentlemanly behaviour strongly exist within you. And that's really refreshing and beautiful. And I'd love to ask you more about where that comes from.
Absolutely. Well, and first of all, let me say thank you. I really, really appreciate that. That you would notice that or pay me that very, very kind compliment. I grew up in a household that was Christian, and I was actually raised hand in hand with my mother, but also with my grandparents.
Yes.
And I was the first grandchild on both sides. So for me, my grandmother told me very early in life. She said, son, there are things and places that your manners will take you, that your looks, your gifts and talents and money can't get you into. And I try to carry that with me in my everyday life. If I remember very vividly a time when I was going through puberty, I might have been 12 years old, 13. I had just started talking to little girls on the phone.
Yes.
And my mother overheard me talking on the phone to a young lady, and I don't recall what I said, but it must have not been to her liking. And I remember getting scolded, and not so much for just being a kid, but she said, "You never speak to a lady that way." And she said, any young lady that allows you to speak to her that way isn't a young lady. You know,
yes.
You respect women. You respect women at all costs. And my favorite people in the world, the favorite people in my life have been my grandmothers, my mother, of course, now my wife. I have 2 daughters. Wonderful. And so it's just really important to me that I be the example that I want my daughters to gravitate towards. And also, I have a son too, to be the example that I want him to be when it comes to treating our young ladies. So that's just, and I wanted to make music, Glossy, that represented that anybody could listen to. I wanted my grandmother to listen to, my mother, and I want other people's grandmothers and mothers to be able to listen, and no one to feel segregated when they listen to my music or have to leave the room. You know, I wanted it to be something that everybody could share, and you can't do that when you're being misogynistic or, you know, unflattering to the ladies. You can't do that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I think it does come through not just within your music, but also within your social media, your website, your presence that's outside of your music, so to speak. I think, you know, it carries through very much so. Like, for instance, your self-titled album there teaches the language of love. You quoted that on your website yourself. I mean, tell us more about that.
Well, I wanted to articulate what a lot of gentlemen want to say but can't, and I think the gift that God has given me more so than the musical talent is the ability to express things that are really difficult for men to say. You know. So a lot of times, brothers take the easy way out, and that's where you start to objectify women because you speak about the obvious, you know, their physicality or things of that nature. But the gift that I think that God has really given me that I try to express is, and I want to be a kind of a conduit or liaison for a lot of young people or men in general. I want to be able to put on my music and it speak to your lady if you can. If there's something that you want to say, if you want to express a certain sentiment and you can't find the words, I want my music to be that window of opportunity for you to say that. So that's kind of what my album is all about, is taking us back to a time in music where you could put on music and it would set the tone or set the mood when you're with your lady, and you really didn't have to talk a whole lot. And you could just listen to the music, and she kind of understood that this is where you were coming from, you know.
I think that's absolutely right. Well, I mean, that's absolutely right, and that does kind of explain 2 things to me. One of the things is the statement on your website in your bio about there being a gap in the music space that it takes a very special artist to fill, and you are one of those special artists.
Oh,
so
man.
I think that's where you're coming from there. I think that's what you're explaining.
Oh, thank you so much again for your words. I didn't really set out to be anybody other than myself. I admire a lot of artists that came before me. I admire so many artists out there today I just completely respect and admire the likes of Eric Robeson, Duelle, Music Soul Child, Eric Benet. I mean, musically, Robert Glasper. There's so many people out there that are just phenomenal that I admire. But a very good friend of mine, Anthony Hamilton, told me a long time ago, he said, do music that feels good to you, that you enjoy. He said, don't worry about being, you know, radio and videos. He said, just make a couple songs that people would like to listen to on the radio, but really do music that you like, that makes you feel good. And I think in doing that, the feedback that I'm getting, people are saying that it reminds them of music from when, or it takes them back to a time. And I guess that's where that quote came from. The gap in music is because even older artists are bowing down to the pressure of trying to sound like what's popular now.
I understand.
But that's a fad. The music that lasts the test of time is music that is inspired and comes from who you are, no matter what your age, no matter what your demographic. If you're true to yourself and that comes through in the music, people will always feel it. I don't care if it's Casey and the Sunshine Band. I don't care if it's Billy Preston. I don't care if it's, any genre of music. If you're true to yourself and you make music that you're passionate about and you believe in, that's going to stand on its own. And I think that's the gap that I'm filling. People like Gerald Levert, Luther Vandross, they're timeless. They're timeless simply because they weren't afraid to be grown men.
Yes.
When in a music industry where youth is kind of prevalent, and if you're not youthful or you can't present in a youthful manner, then you're shunned against. That's where I think I fit in, and I'm not afraid of that. So.
Well, I think that's absolutely brilliant, and it's a great place to fit because, music from a civilized age can come from this age right now if it comes from the heart of a person who has trust in who they are and what they do.
Right.
I fully agree. And the other thing that it does bring very clearly to me the actual tunes within the album, because that kind of suggests to me the conversations that you're saying that these tunes are having on behalf of perhaps other men even, but things like Hold On and Mine and Happy and so on, things like Baby. These are all fabulous songs, and starting with Say Something, which is the number one track on your album featuring Curtis Mayfield there. It's incredibly smooth. Tell us about it. Tell us where that was coming from.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The entire album is dedicated to my wife, the love of my life. With any relationship, you have ups and downs. You have twists and turns because love can be very, very peculiar. One of the lines from the song "Hold On," the very first line says, "Love can be peculiar."
Yes.
Even when it's real. So you should never assume how you're going to feel. And so, early on, when I was trying to court her or woo her, we had some difficulties, and I poured my heart into basically what I knew best, and music being my sanctuary. So if you listen to the album, it comes across very conversational, and I think that's why people are feeling it the way that they are. It is coming from a very real place, and I poured my heart and my soul into every one of the songs. Songs like Baby, which is one of my favorites, has lyrics that are kind of a throwback to the old Temptations, Ain't No Mountain High, not Marvin Gaye,
Yes, familiar, bit different lyrics. Yeah, absolutely. Heard that in there, and love the drum beat on that. Absolutely. Not what you expect. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. And so I think that's basically where I can tell you that's where the inspiration came from. And I'm one of those type artists. I don't write. I have to be inspired. I can create music all day, but I won't record it unless I feel it. If it doesn't move me to tears, if it doesn't cause me to be emotional, then I won't do it, because then I'm just manufacturing something, and I don't want to give the people that. I try to give them a part of myself every time I put something on record. So that's what the record, and it's just a blessing that the album is so cohesive, and I took so long to do it, simply because I didn't want to just put a number of songs together. I actually had 50 songs or so recorded, and I actually took a 2 or 3 year period to find the songs that fit like a puzzle and were cohesive and they flowed together. That was very important, that the project as a whole was very cohesive and flowed seamlessly, and that, I think that really helped.
Wow. You're describing that, and I have to thank you for sharing all of that, because there's a fair amount of quite personal information there, which I think is lovely for you to share, and thank you. But like for instance, Mine. I mean, that comes from a very real place. That's a real space that song's been written from. Real experience. I feel, it has that I've been here feeling to it.
Yeah, it made me. Mine was the typical. You find a lady, you like the lady, and you begin to express your undying love for the lady, and you don't mind shouting it in front of the world. And it has a really catchy beat, but if you listen to the words, it's simply saying, "I want you," and I want you more than I've ever wanted anything in my life, and I'm willing to be vulnerable and look foolish in order to get your attention, And that was the inspiration behind the song. I just didn't know any other way to put it down.
But it says it with a huge amount of respect, Eliah. It really does. It has no assumption in the tune. It is just a very respectful way of saying that you've just said. Wonderful. So
thank you, man.
It's great, and I've enjoyed it very much. I love the slow jam side of Happy. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Ebony's rich. The electric guitar bit is amazing. It sort of adds to the richness. And Cam Wee is just simply beautiful.
Thank you, man. That means you're gonna make me cry in a minute, man.
Yeah.
I'm emotional. I'm an emotional dude about my music, man. So, but I can understand that you're very, very knowledgeable about music. I know you. I mean, I know that you know music. You know good music when you hear it. So for you to compliment my music, it means more to me than you can possibly imagine, brother. Really, it does.
Oh well, it is absolutely fantastic, the album, and I'm glad that I've been able to have a copy of it, listen to it, and that we'll be able to feature it because music like yours. You say that there are not enough outlets for soul and R&B. Well, we are one of those outlets here in the UK, and we fully support as much as we can artists like yourself.
Right.
And music like this. Yeah, absolutely. This is what we are, and that's what we do, and we're loving it.
Man, I appreciate it. I really do. I can't express that enough, man. To hear, how it is when to hear somebody appreciate what you do and your craft, and to respect and appreciate it. That's what we do it for. That's why I do it.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful motive, and I think it's great. I noticed you got some live gigs coming up. That you're in Paris alongside Algebra on the 26th of September, and then you're here at the Jazz Cafe in Camden with Music Connects, and we'll be at the Music Connects event in September for sure.
Awesome.
So seriously,
awesome.
Looking forward to
I
that.
can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to be in the UK. I can't wait to be in Paris and London. The wonderful crowds, such a historic venue like both Bizarre and Jazz Cafe. I'm honored, man. I'm humbled, along with such a wonderful artist like Algebra, who I mean, anybody who knows R&B soul music knows who she is.
Yes.
I'm humbled. I'm just blown away that I've been given this opportunity so early in my career.
Well,
Go ahead.
It's absolutely lovely, and I actually opened the breakfast show this morning with a tune from Algebra. So we're familiar with her work very much, and it's it's going to be a great one for you to be alongside. And in Paris too, we have a couple of DJs that send us and DJ on this station from Paris. So absolutely wonderful. And I'll tell them about the event and see if we can get them down there to come and watch it from the France end. So that'll be great.
Oh man, thank you so much.
That's absolutely wonderful. So after that, then Eliah, where's it going after that? What are you looking at, sort of in time to come? What are your plans?
Well, after we get back from Paris and London, we're going to be planning a 12-city tour to benefit my wife's nonprofit, $1 College. So we're in the planning stage. We're going to do major cities along the eastern seaboard in the United States. So that's what's coming up, after we get back, is just planning that and, executing, securing all the venues and guest appearances. It's a major undertaking for an independent artist, being that we're doing something in 12 different cities. It's actually 12 different, single events. We're just tying them together. But even before we go to Paris and London, here in August, here in the States, in Charlotte, I'm throwing a benefit concert to benefit the North Carolina organization, to benefit sickle cell organization of the Carolinas.
Yes.
I'm going to throw a benefit concert here in August to benefit that organization. So we're just trying to stay busy. I believe that the platform of song that God has given me is my purpose for being here. So no matter how early I am in my career, I want to take every opportunity that I had to help somebody else or benefit somebody else. I think it's just a blessing that it's in a platform that I love, I have a passion for, so I can help people and do good music at the same time.
Well, what a wonderful combination, and sickle cell, it is something that needs that kind of assistance, and I think it's a wonderful thing for you to embrace as an independent artist, and I admire that very much. I think that's a great thing, and if there's anything you think that Sound Fusion Radio can do to assist in that, then hesitate not to contact me. Just come through, And,
absolutely, I'll do that, brother.
Yeah, because we're here in the UK, but we are a worldwide station. We do run adverts and things like that, which help to get people to gigs, and it all helps, especially when proceeds are benefiting such wonderful things. It's well worth it. Wonderful. Really, the last question is just to point people at your social media, your website, and if there's anything that you want to say to your fans here in the UK and indeed across the world, then
Absolutely.
Take as long as you like and fire away.
Okay. Well, they can reach out to me at Eliah Soul. That's ELIAH Soul on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I manage my own accounts, so if they reach out to me, I'll contact them, talk back to them. I'm very approachable, and I interact, as much as I can with everybody and anybody. They can go to my website, eliahsoul.com, if they want to see any upcoming events that I have, any new music that I'm dropping, anything that I'm doing, either here or abroad. And just want to tell my fans, either now, potential fans in the future, that I really, really love them, that I appreciate them, because without the people that support independent artists and music, there are no independent artists in music. You just have musicians and singers who are doing nothing. So without the fans, we're nothing. Without God, I'm nothing. But without the people who love this music and this genre that I'm in, I can't move in the earth. I can't do anything. So I greatly appreciate them checking for me, and I just want to continue to give them good music from now until I leave this place. So that's it, brother.
Well, thank you, brother, for all of your time this afternoon. And it's probably morning where you are actually still, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just past noon. It's around 12:25.
Oh, that's not so bad. There you go. Well, thank you so much for spending this wonderful time with us and sharing all of this from your heart. It's lovely to have an interview where it's more of a conversation between two friends than an interview. That's what I like.
Right. I appreciate it, man, and I can't wait to meet you, brother. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. So just stay healthy and well until I see you in September.
You do the same too, sir, and have an absolutely blessed and beautiful day.
You do, brother. Thank you so much.
Take care. See you soon. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.